this criteria. But more recently, in 2007, we had some new regulations for teleassistants. And again, we talk about teleassistants, and once more, we were daring to write this. And I'm saying that we were daring to do this because the Red Cross also participating in this. The person needs to have a telephonic service. They should accept voluntarily to be a member of this service. And again, the hearing, psychical, and abilities of the person should be compatible with the service. And again, we are still excluding the deaf people, this same group. And in this quality regulation, we were also talking about the different levels of action in different emergency situations. And you can see that both in level 1 and 2, the response is always a verbal answer. So indirectly, we're also excluding once more the same group. Thus, the question goes as following. What are we doing right now with this elderly group that could be users of the teleassistance service, but that they are deaf? They are not deaf when they get the service, but as years go by, and since they are elderly people, and they deteriorate because they get old, this person becomes either deaf or with an important hearing impairment. So the truth right now is the following. Prelocutive or postlocutive deaf people right now are excluded to this service because they do not fulfill the criteria. But the elderly person who is who got deaf after getting the teleassistance service, well, we know that this service is based on public financing, and it's the administration that offers this service. So the truth is that right now, when the user launches the warning, the alarm, the first thing that they have, well, you know that the teleassistance device have like a feedback. There's like a voice message that says your voice is being managed. So the elderly person who has hearing impairments and they are wearing that necklace and they can press the button, they have fallen in the bathroom, they do press the button, but they do not know if the call has been managed or not, because maybe the device is not working anymore. So that's one issue. And another issue is that, for example, imagine that this dweller did not fall in the bathroom. Imagine that they were just dusting the house and he pressed the button by mistake. Well, he has no possibility to press the canceling of that call to avoid the whole process. So there's a lot of mistakes, and the user understands that that's their own mistake. And in the end, they want to stop having that service. So there's all of these people excluded, and they should need this service. They need this service. On the other hand, at the other side, we have the operator. The operator gets the call and answers, and through verbal language, this person tries to get more information of what is happening in a specific home, but they get no answer. So they start implementing all of the necessary resources, but not in an efficient manner. So the conclusion is that when a person does not answer, and the person is not answering because they're not hearing the voice, we start mobilizing resources. And it's not an optimum way of always putting in place resources without knowing exactly what is happening in the home. So in the end, we are offering a service which does not fulfill our quality requirements. The evolution of teleassistance throughout these years, because you might ask yourself, since 1989 until now, teleassistance has not evolved so as to help this group. Well, it has evolved, but it's still not helping this group. We're talking about home assistance, and since 2004, we can talk about mobile assistance. This is a reactive service. We only react in emergency situations. And Miguel Angel before was talking about devices that, when placed in the right place in the home, they can offer us some information of what is happening in the home, and they can also prevent some events that can be negative for the user. We were also talking about a service based, or mainly based, maybe it's not based, but this was a service that was only given or offered to the service. But now it's a more comprehensive service that takes into account the service provider, the user, and also the people who coexist with the user, because sometimes they are also in a dependency situation or they are lacking autonomy. Also the family relatives, because despite being far away, they feel self-assured because they know that the elderly people can be helped. We are advancing, we are progressing in teleassistance and in telemedicine in a parallel way. And right now we're talking about an integration of these two issues. But there is a step that we still have not done, which is an accessible teleassistance service. And with this project, we are trying to create this accessible teleassistance. And to promote this accessibility, we will need to change the home devices. We will need to incorporate images to the interaction so that people who only speak the sign language can understand what is happening. Also incorporating text for those people who know how to write and read, and also including other documents. And this is as far as the project goes, and this is our analysis. Thank you very much, Begoña. Unfortunately, due to organizational issues, well, we had the coffee break at 11:30, and we've undergone 11:30. So I would just like to say that this is a group that is totally excluded from this service, and the Red Cross is leader along this line. So now here we can see how the regulation is specifically excluding this group of deaf people. So my question is now, the technology that we have right now cannot offer an inclusive response for this group? And the answer is that the work that we have carried out, and here I would like to mention the collaboration of the entities that are here in the table with me, and also Texas and the Polytechnical College of Madrid. Well, we have integrated all of our efforts to offer a technological service that we're going to validate in the next few months, and we hope that in the near future, in the next Congress, we will be able to mention the details. We should have an adequate communication system for this group of people for emergency situation. It should not only be based on sign language, but also with images, and not only in emergency situations, but also in support situations, because in the Red Cross and in teleassistance centers, many times we see that they just need some company, because these elderly people sometimes suffer from depression, and this depression is also present among this group. So we should take that into account as well. And this system should be able to interact with other systems, such as the intermediation services that are being offered for deaf people. And difficulties have already been mentioned before. The group includes a lot of different people with hearing impairment, elderly people who know sign language, people who do not know sign language, people who have limited oral language knowledge or non-existent knowledge of this oral language. And we also want to use the present technologies so as to have a short-term solution, and a solution which is feasible technologically and economically. The situations that we focused on were the alarm or warning situation with the alarm button, as Begoña mentioned. And these were commercial solutions with the use of visual and touch communication of specific devices that are placed in the home. This is the first step that we were mentioning. And it is also about having a new channel based on the TV TV set so that we can offer some answer in a specific alarm situation or warning situation so as to avoid those false positives or those false negatives of those alarms that were being produced and that made this elderly deaf person feel guilty. And in the end, they quit from the service because of this feeling of guilt. So this service through the TV set could be based on the sign language or on augmentative communication that can describe in each moment why the alarm has been generated. There is also this social need of communication. It's this follow-up call, these accompanying calls that we carry out in the Red Cross. We're also going to include that in the pilot stage, and we're going to do that with both sign language as well as with graphs or pictograms that could help understand the state of the deaf person if this person cannot communicate neither with sign language nor with the written language. The interoperability with the interpretation system that the foundation of the Deaf People Confederation offers is also very important. In those cases where there's important to have an oral communication between the oral service and also the Red Cross service is very important, and the person should also be able to express themselves in sign language if that is their main language. The objective is to generate an alarm, then it will get to the video attention service, and in this center we will issue a call, and through the flashes or LEDs that we see in the home, we will see what we will do. If there is no response, we will implement the necessary resources so as to satisfy or try and correct the alarm situation. And otherwise, through the augmentative communication or through sign language, we will try to understand why we have that alarm. So through very schematic and brief messages, we need to understand if they feel lonely and they want to talk, or if they need some help. And we can do this through sign language thanks to the interoperability with the video interpretation platform that the State Confederation of Deaf People have. And as for conclusions, we want these users to leader this innovation project. And the main conclusions are that this group of deaf people use quite a lot technology because they have understood that technology for them is their favorite instrument, their favorite device, because then they won't be that dependent on third people. They want to be independent, they want autonomy, and they find that in technology. The service is, though, limited, and in this project we want to change the regulation so as not to exclude a priori this group, because there are some solutions based on the present technology, as we said, that are going to enable us to progress in the future. What are the next steps that we need to undertake in this project? Once we have clearly identified the need based on the initial solution, in the digital home, we need to test this with real users, and in July we will have a 6 months validation stage with those pilot projects that Leandra was talking about in Madrid, Aragon, Castilla León, and Valencia. There will be a lot of users that will participate in this pilot stage, and we will have a white paper that will include some recommendations so as to change this situation, not only in pilot projects but in real life, so as to satisfy the needs of these people. I'm sorry I didn't manage time too well, and I think we still have the coffee break waiting for us out there. I don't know if there's time for a Q&A now, but at any rate, we will be around, so if you want to have more information about the project, we will be happy to help you. Thank you very much.
No, sí, sé que no es. Esto es un regalo de la muchas gracias.